The Republican Party, in the person of Donald Trump, has put forward a proposal to give protection to 1.8 million of these dreamers, so-called dreamers, in exchange for $25 billion in a wall, some modifications to the lottery system. What's wrong with that proposal? Why can't you get behind that one?
Well, first, I'm glad that the president further refined what he would like to see in a bipartisan deal. I still believe that this has to be a narrow fix, which is what Pete and I have done with the USA Act. The more things you start adding on, you start creating these coalitions of opposition. And so the question is, should we keep our immigration at the same level? Should it decrease? Should it increase? These are pretty big questions that we should be having hearings and conversations on. But ultimately, I think the president is right, and that the only way this is going to get done in a bipartisan way, and that's what we're trying to do here.
So Representative Aguilar, over to you on the Democratic side. One of the issues has been security or a wall. How far does your proposal go toward the president in providing for that security? How far can your fellow Democrats go?
Well, and we're comfortable having border security be a part of our proposal, and that's exactly what we did. So we created a DACA fix with border security. So it requires the Department of Homeland Security to send Congress more information about what they would like to do to secure our southern border on a mile-by-mile basis. So whether it's technological barriers or physical barriers, they need to tell Congress what they need, and we haven't been given the proper information, so we think that that's a great baseline to start. Clearly, technology is going to be the better use of resources in order to do that. And that's something where Democrats and Republicans can agree. So what we've decided to do is create a bill that was narrow, that was focused on a DACA fix with border security. It's what we can agree on right now, and it's the type of bipartisanship that you heard the president just talk about.
Congressman Aguilar, go ahead.
I'm sorry. We've also been very clear this is not an appropriations bill. This is an agreement on how to do border security. This is a DACA fix, and this allows us to get to a vote on keeping the government open and a budget for the Department of Homeland Security.
But Congressman Hurd, we have heard from the White House that they do want an appropriations bill, not just an authorization bill. So this really won't satisfy their demands.
Well, but this is not the only thing that we have to do. We have to still fund the government for the rest of the year. We can come up with a budget agreement for the rest of this year and probably FY19 as well. So this should be coupled with a vote on an appropriations bill that addresses all the needs along the border. I have more border than any other member of Congress, 820 miles of border. I spent almost a decade as an undercover officer in the CIA chasing bad guys all across the world. We don't have operational control of our border, and it's 2018, and we should. So whether this is one vote or multiple votes, this is how we should be thinking about getting this done for the future.
When it comes to the votes, Congressman, do you have the votes in the House, at least for this bill?
We're building. This is something that hasn't been solved in, a couple of decades, and we're trying to start in a way that hasn't been done. Congress has proven doing comprehensive and partisan, that Congress is pretty bad at that. So let's do the opposite. Let's do something narrow, and let's do something in a bipartisan fashion. And I think with the president coming out with his principles on what he would like to see, I think that helps move the conversation forward to make sure we get 218 votes in the House and the 60 votes that's needed in the Senate.
So it's important to know that this is what we can agree on right now. And just like the president just mentioned in the lead that you just rolled, Republicans don't have the votes by themselves. So let's work together. Let's do something that is narrow and focused just on these two principles, DACA fix and border security.
So, Congressman Aguilar, let's talk about what you need actually to get to that agreement, because as I understand, you have like 53 co-sponsors right now, which sounds really impressive, both Republicans and Democrats. But as we just heard, you need 218 on the House side alone, and then you need 51 over in the Senate. What are the real prospects of something like what you proposed, getting the bipartisan support to get to a majority in both houses?
Well, we feel very comfortable, given other legislative options that exist, that this is the only bill that would get to 218 votes on the House floor, because it's narrow, because it's focused, because it just deals with these issues that Democrats and Republicans can agree on. The most important thing is the protection of dreamers. Let's do that. Let's fix this DACA issue permanently, and then let's have a conversation about border security and leave the issues of family reunification and diversity lottery. Let's leave those for comprehensive of immigration reform that the president said in the Tuesday White House meeting that everybody's familiar with can be done in phase 2. Let's deal with what we can control right now and what we have broad bipartisan agreement with.
Right. And Congressman Hurd, just before we go, just because you are part of the House Intelligence Committee, we've just broken news that Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe is resigning. Of course, he's been the target of attacks for his political views. How do you think this will impact the FBI or Mr. Mueller's investigation?
I don't think it has an impact. The investigation is going to continue that Mr. Mueller is doing. The investigation that's being done in the House and the Senate is going to continue. Mr. McCabe has been involved in many of those aspects, and I'm sure we'll get asked questions down the line if that's necessary. And the FBI is going to be able to continue to evolve without him. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions about the timing of the move, but I don't think this has an impact on the investigations.